Hi, hope you have a nice day. I'm going to read for you the first scene in my short story Date in a Spaceship. And this is currently as a stretch goal on my Kickstarter, Arson, a Descansar Universe Kickstarter. So if we reach that goal, everybody will get this short story. But let's get on with the story. The light went out again, and Maya waved her hands for the umpteenth time. Her light brown hair flowed with the movement, getting stuck in her mouth. She had wanted out of a regulation hair on her day off, but was starting to regret the decision. A chill ran down her spine. Her mouth was dry. She tried to swallow, but it was useless. The darkness descending on her every few minutes were unbearable. Why couldn't the light stay on? This was the only place on the spaceship Adelante with motion sensors. In the hydroponic gardens where she worked, the light was on all the time. Her quarters were controlled by voice command. The lights on the rest of the ship were on during daylight hours, and she was never out at night. This was the first place that she had to move to keep the lights on. She hated it. Actually, she hated this place. A cramped, dark hallway, light sunken into the ceiling, the walls painted dreary grey, not a single decoration. All the rest of the decks had decor that changed every month, but not this one. The hallway was strange and too long for her to see either end. Every door leading out from it, except the elevator she'd arrived on, had a gigantic sign that said Authorized personnel only. She certainly wasn't authorized. Why meet here? It was devoid of life. Not a single plant, not even a green one without flowers. That was actually the worst part of it. No fresh smell of plant life. It smelled of fuel and something burnt that made her nose itch. She was used to having plants everywhere, and not only in the hydroponic garden. Every room and every deck had lots of plants. Officially as decoration. But the real reason was to improve the air and to serve as an early detection system. The plants used were extra sensitive to particular substances in the air, and if they withered, they'd know something was wrong with the air control system. In this place, without a single green plant, she didn't feel safe. She had never been this low on the spaceship, not even during the safety drills. She'd thought her assigned escape vessel was on a low deck, but it must be at least 5 decks up from this one. It felt like the knowledge of all those decks above her threatened to crush her. And it was cold. She trembled, even though she tried to move to keep the lights on. True, she froze everywhere because she worked in the hydroponic garden, which had a higher temperature than the rest of the ship. She had even increased the temperature in her quarters, but this place was even colder. She should have worn something warmer, not the yellow linen trousers and her favorite yellow blouse with white flower embroidery. She'd wanted to look good on the date, but she started to regret that decision as well. She was having second thoughts. Cezar was cute, but she wasn't sure if he was cute enough to wait here in this depressing place for his so-called surprise. The only reason she hadn't left already was the fact she was, as always, early. She worried it would take time to get here, so she'd arrived 15 minutes before the agreed time. The lights went out again. This time she didn't wave, just wrapped her arms around herself, trying to keep warm. Maybe this wasn't a spectacular surprise like she'd thought when Cezar invited her with a glint in his eyes and a big smile. It could be an elaborate prank. This was their first official date. Both had the day off. Cezar from his job as a pilot and she from hers as a gardener. They had met at the last crew get-together. Cezar sat across the table and she couldn't take her eyes off his big smile. The taste of chili-flavored bugs with sugar snap peas still lingered on her tongue. They couldn't stop talking, and after dinner they had danced all night. She sighed. His surprise was probably worth it, even if he had lured her down into the belly of a beast. So that's the first scene in the short story, Date in a Spaceship. If you want to hear more about it, so help me fund this Kickstarter and reach the stretch goal. The Kickstarter is named Arson, a Descansar Universe Kickstarter. Have a nice day. Bye.